Here, we back. How we doing, chat? Can we be heard? I feel like it's gonna be extra laggy. I need to get a smaller second monitor. The one I got right now is literally a television, like designed to fill up a living room. I wasn't paying attention, and I don't think my computers are really built to support that. But it is what it is, so I have to make do what I got. First world problems, bigger screen. What's up, guys? We are live for the first time of the 2020-2021 season. And doing an afternoon stream here on YouTube. Last year we did a lot of cross Twitch and YouTube. Years past we've done night before. I'm still trying to find that sweet spot for where I fit in at. But yeah, hey, y'all let me know if things are lagging. And I don't know, I'll try and do my best. Let me cut the music here. Gun, send me that beat. You know, look how it has, why don't you send me a beat? The DMCA apocalypse. It's tough times out here for streamers, man. What's up, Sway McThunder? Casey Banton. Am I streaming on Twitch? I couldn't get the co-stream going right now. I'll definitely try and make that a thing going forward. Like I said, I really gotta get a second monitor that's gonna be a little bit less stress on my hardware. But I certainly will have a way to multi-stream going forward. My bad. What up, Young C? Josh Redfoot, Philly Shizzy in the hizzy. Man, y'all are good. Things are fine. All right, I'm glad to hear that, because I was really worried about some potential lag. NBA is back, guys. Hopefully you guys had some fun last night. 2 games on the docket. Both games got a little lopsided pretty quickly. First one, we kind of expected the Nets to run away from the Warriors, but man, the Clippers taking it to the Lakers on ring night. Pandemic P, getting it done. It is laggy. Oh no. What's up, Tony? What up, Jason? What up, Zach? Oh, it is laggy. Man, I have a feeling that this would happen. So, I think, man, all I can do really is just try and close as much as possible and get it done. So, actually, let me just close out FanDuel DraftKings. We'll run pure spreadsheet and pure website. Maybe the camera's laggy. If the camera's laggy, that's fine. Actually, I could shut off the camera. You don't need to see me and my beautiful tree, right? Because that's a real tree behind me. 100% real. Sounding kind of so-ish. I'll tell you what, maybe let's kill the camera. The lineup sound kind of switch. Oh, does my voice sound normal though? Actually, yesterday the video I put up was the second take. I full recorded one and I sounded slow motion, chopped and screwed. It was crazy. I almost uploaded it for fun, but it sounded like I was pure drunk. So I have had that problem lately. So if you guys know what I normally sound like, if this ain't it, let me know. But nonetheless, we are gonna get things underway. Raj is on the way. Raj is waiting. The movie Saw Your Voice. Cut the vid. I'm good with the voice lag. Still get the same great content. Hey man, I appreciate y'all gassing me up. Yeah, let's cut the vid. Alright. We'll turn webcam off for now. Voice does sound deeper, slow-mo deeper. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Give me 1 second to fix that. Chopped and screwed, let's go. Hey, first stream, there's going to be problems, right? Let's do properties here. Even if we have to switch to the headset mic, I don't mind. Output projector. Sound like The Undertaker. Rest. Yeah, that's what I say. If you know what I normally sound like, let me know. But let me see what I can do here. Real quick, like. Never what. I appreciate you guys jumping in and dealing with some of the technical difficulties right off the bat. Recording output projector. I sound pretty normal. We are getting a wide range of imagine I did a whole stream just sounding like the Undertaker. y'all are tripping me up. Man, for some reason right now it's not allowing me to. Give me 1 second, chat. I'm trying to adjust the audio input. If I have to, I'll go to headset mic. Sound normal, just a small lag. What up, Mike Lowry? Hopefully you guys are all set up for Christmas. I'm excited. Christmas basketball. You know we get the full Thursday off the day before, right? So we get all the drama tonight. And then tomorrow it's a full day off. I don't know why. It will not allow me to adjust. Chat, we burning alive out here. I did a full test and everything. Oh, man, I don't know. Man, I don't know. A lot of players weighing the price. Yeah, so that's the benefit of opening day, really opening weeks. The last couple of years, a lot of players are priced to points where they're going to be really, really lower than they should be as they grow in value, in usage. We start learning players' involvement, players' responsibilities on new teams and stuff like that. Voice thing. As long as I don't sound too chopped and screwed, right? Right? I guess I can deal with it. I guess let me get Raj in here. Raj can annoy you guys for a second while I try and fix this. Yo,
back in the building.
We are.
Been a while. Been a good minute, but ready to come back and print some of this money.
I'm ready to tip on 4 fours. Apparently, my mic is so slow. I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully tonight we win a whole bunch of cash. There's a lot of big first place contests out there on both sites. Last night we saw a milli given away. And today there's a couple, I think 200Ks to first on either site. But yeah, man, we're just gonna go with it. We are back. What up, TFS? Cash, Dang Lazy Mofo, Jeff, Abby, man. Good to see you guys. This is like the first day of school. Seeing these names back in the chat. I definitely missed a lot of y'all. Sound like Wolf Earl after taking a drink. God dang it, I need to fix it. I tell you, I'm gonna do one thing.
It never fails.
Unplug it, plug it back in. That's what we, as a kid, just unplug it, plug it back in. Did that by any chance? Fix it. It's so laggy. Dude.
Your voice sounds fine, like
It's
to
to
me.
you.
Because we're on Discord.
No, it's through the screen. It's because I got this giant TV on the second screen. I broke my other monitor. So I went to buy another monitor, and I wasn't paying attention to the size. I just wanted 144 hertz, high FPS and 4K resolution, and boom, that worked. Okay, that worked. Unplug it, plug it back in. All right, sorry, chat. Appreciate you guys sticking through that, man. Love you guys for real, for real. I'm glad to see you guys back. We are live. And if you guys know the drill by now, I am Gundacker Gaming's the channel here. I also am the spearhead behind RunDFS.com, where I have created some proprietary spreadsheets. I've created a community, really cultivated a strong community of grinders at all different bankroll levels, winners at all different bankroll levels, and I just love what we've developed. You guys, a lot of you guys have been here for years, know the drill. We're back in full swing in the VIP side of things before lock, 2 hours before lock, every NBA slate, sometimes outside of Sunday. We do a pre-lock voice chat in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. So if you guys want a cool way to support me, support the channel a little bit more, and get a little something in return, you go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, get signed up, and that will open up the VIP thread, the 2020 onboarding thread. You'll get a link to the spreadsheet, which we'll be using throughout the duration of this stream. And then you'll get a link to the Discord. You jump in there, you can grab a mic, join the conversation, or just listen in and chop it up. When I say there's people at every different bankroll level, I mean it. Whatever you play, you belong there. We've got people max and quarter arcades, mini maxes, and then we got people always be placing. I don't know how many times I'm going to brag on them, but you know, when a dude wins $1 million with the logo flying,
every slate,
gotta do it, right? Always be placing, winning the Millie Maker 2 weeks ago. But we've had several 100K winners, right? Jake on the last day of NBA regular season last year, Adine. A lot of guys at every different bankroll level. So no matter where you guys at, don't feel like you wouldn't belong in that Discord. Come get you some. With that said, let's chop up the slate and let's get started. As Remy said, I sound chopped and screwed again. I'm hoping Remy's in the early part of the stream, and I'm hoping we're still good. Chat, let me know otherwise. But we got to get things cranked up and start talking about the 13 games on today's slate. Starting with game number 1, the Charlotte Hornets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Projected starting 5 for the Hornets: Devontae, Moonlight, Graham the Homie, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, Cody Zeller taking on Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Larry Nance Jr., and Andre the Giant Drummond. We got a 216 total, 2.5 point spread here in favor of the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets, of course, picking up LaMelo Ball in the offseason. A lot of people hyped, looking to see him grow as a player here. Now, normally, 13-game slate, we're looking for the 228s, the 230 totals, and we're moving on. But I think this game is going to provide probably my favorite play on the slate from first look yesterday, and that's Andre Drummond. He's $8K on DraftKings, $8,400 on FanDuel. I think the price point for this matchup is way too cheap, and it doesn't hurt that Kevin Love is out. I probably would have been all over Drummond if Kevin Love was in, but you take out Kevin Love. Love, of course, a guy that can go out there, get 10, 15 rebounds, and score some points. Drummond is in an elite spot. Last year, the Charlotte Hornets were a team I absolutely ran to play bigs against. They gave up the most fantasy points per game to opposing centers. And it's just a juicy matchup. You look at what the Hornets have done. Sure, they've added Hayward. They got LaMelo Ball. But they really haven't added beef and size to that front court. And Andre Drummond should just be swatting at will, getting rebounds at will. And at 8K, I definitely can see 50, 60 fantasy points as a range of outcome here. Larry Nance Jr., another guy that sticks out. He is a kind of a point-per-minute generator through his time. I think on FanDuel, he's a small forward. If I'm looking for 25, 30, maybe a shot at 40 because of that front court, I think that's very possible. I don't really get to the Cavaliers guards on the Hornet side. I think ultimately I'll be low on everyone. I think Devontae Graham's the only guy I'm putting in my FanDuel pool at 5,700. But for the most part, I don't see myself in a 13-game slate poking around the Hornets too much. I think Cody Zeller could hit value, but I don't want to give up that center spot because I think we're going to get some elite scores at the center position today. We got some big boys. Raj, any crazy takes on this game?
This game, like you said, slower game. Not a game we're target a whole lot. Drummond's price is good at 8K. Should smash here. So give me some Drummond. And the Charlotte side with Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, and LaMelo, after they're all going to kind of share ball handling duties, you know, so I'm not running to play them. Sure, Devontae Graham, they have the upside at 6'4", get you 30 real-life points, sure. But Gordon Hayward's there. He's 6'6". I'm just thinking of full fading Charlotte. Give me some Drummond. Larry Nance at 5'9", I don't think people are going to play, but we saw last year, he had a couple of those 40, 45-point fantasy games when guys were out. So I think it's a great GPP play. Probably won't get a ton. It's just Drummond for me. No scary Terry triple-double for this one.
Yeah, I'm not touching Terry. It's just Drummond for me. A little bit of Nance. Moving on to the next game, the Indiana Pacers hosting the New York Knicks. Project starting five for the Knicks: Elfrid Payton, Alec Burks, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Nerlens Noel. Up against Malcolm Brogdon, Victor Oladipo, T.J. Warren, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. We got a 214 total, 8-point spread, so another one of the lower totals. Pacers and Knicks probably going to run a low pace as is. Normally a game I probably stay away from on all accounts. I do think the 2 points that I wanted to bring up was Julius Randle at 6,900 on DraftKings under a Thibodeau minute rotation. He could be a 32 to 35 minute guy against the Pacers front court. Not exactly like a super smash spot, but under 7K, that's a lot of minutes for a lot of usage on a guy like Randle who we know could drop 40. And then Nerlens Noel, I believe, is a power forward on FanDuel. So at 3,900, it looks like the plan in preseason was Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench. If Noel's going to keep coming off, if Noel's going to keep starting at under 4K, there's a puncher's chance for him to pay off that price point. So I don't hate that. It's the guy that can go out there and get a bunch of blocks. So I might have a touch of Noel, really on either side, but probably just FanDuel as the power forward punt play, because obviously we're going to have Pat Williams from the Bulls really saving a whole lot of salary coming forward. Alec Burks is somebody that's at least interesting, but I think for the most part, 13-game slate, I'm really going to try to isolate my player pool to 5 or less games if I can really help it. And I really don't see a whole lot of guys in here that I'm just going to run to play. Sabonis is a guy at 7,400 last year I would be all in on. And even Malcolm Brogdon at 6,200. Both those guys I think could pay off their price in a vacuum individually at their price points. But do I love this game to stay competitive and be a shootout? Maybe not. So I'm going to have to make some tough decisions there because I also think Malcolm Brogdon is severely I don't want to say underpriced, but he's at a price point where I think he hits more than he doesn't. My soft projections right now have him almost at exactly a 6x value projection on DraftKings. So Brogdon would probably be my back pocket on 150 lineups. And then maybe a smidge of Sabonis at 74, maybe cap that at 8%, see what happens. And then Randle Noel. The Knicks guard situation, man, I think I'm staying away from it. I think Elfrid Payton and Alec Burks definitely could shock us at their price points individually. We saw Elfrid Payton have some big games in preseason. Right now, my soft projection has him at about 31 DraftKings points at 5,400, right around that 5 to 6x range. Alec Burks is somebody that a lot of people have been calling a sleeper pickup for this team. I want to trust the Knicks minute rotation this year more than I ever have, but the heart wants what the heart wants, and I'm going to be a little bit hesitant to go overboard, at least on a big 13-game slate. I think when things start chopping down a little bit, I got to really, really deeper analyze the Knicks and how they're going. I think I'm getting an opportunity here to let it play out a couple games before I overcommit. But for me, Randle Noel, Brogdon, Sabonis. Would you dabble with the Payton and Burks?
I think Payton and R.J. Barrett, I think both of them are going to see 35-plus minutes with Thibodeau, their coaching. R.J. Barrett did end the year strong last year. So their prices, I could see them getting 30 DKP, which won't kill you. You want the 40, so it's possible. But again, on a 13-game slate, this is just one of those games where if I'm trying to focus on maybe 8 games, this game probably gets the X out. You said Sabonis was interesting. Oladipo should be back after coming halfway back last year, another off season. This is a guy that was giving you 40, 45, 50 DKP some games, 25, 5 and 5. So at 6'1", I think there's a little upside there. So if you want to take shots on Oladipo,
I'm not taking shots on Depot.
RJ Barrett, I don't hate it.
I'll say as a whole NBA game, this overall is pretty cheap. I heard something like 6% of games can go to overtime or in NBA. Overall, the game is kind of cheap if you isolate it, but I think on a 13-game slate, if I'm just doing 20 lines versus 150, I really got to cut it down. I need ceiling, right? I need big boy ceiling. 8x value on some of these, 6 to 9.
Julius Randle 6'9", 50 bomb, wouldn't be shocked.
I agree with that. Well, my caveat to Randall's, I love me some LaMarcus Aldridge, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Chat.
Yep.
Chat, what are you thinking on this one? The Houston game, that Houston drama saga is ridiculous. But yeah, SGA is definitely somebody that I'm all about today. Sway McDonough said, don't want the space. Yo, what up, Hector? Hey there, cuties. Hey. Henny Knight. What's up, Henny? OKC versus Houston might get canceled. How about some Rozier too cheap? No, Josh. No, never that. Not for me. Miami Heat at the Orlando Magic. Project starting 5 for the Heat. Goran Dragic, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G. Buckets. Mo, how could you be so heartless? Bam Adebayo up against Markelle Fultz, Evan Fournier, Dwayne Bacon, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Vucevic. We got a 218 total, 4.5 point spread in favor of the Miami Heat. Another game with a meager total and probably a slow pace. These were two of the better defenses last year and two of the slower paced teams. So there's not a whole lot of meat and potatoes on the surface. Nikola Vucevic sitting at 8,200 on DraftKings. You think about Andre Drummond being right there at 8K. I just don't see how I go Vooch over Drummond here going against a guy like Adebayo. The Heat were really, really strong against front courts last year, allowing just 43 points in the paint per game. Vucevic, of course, can get off mid-range and long range, but there's probably not a whole lot on the surface here for the Magic. I feel like I'm click and repeat on these early game analysis, but there's a few games that are sitting at 230 totals. They're really going to make my eyes light up. With that said, price points here, 6,100 for Aaron Gordon. Yeah, that dude could probably get there. But like I said, I think if I'm really, really creating a tight pool on a 13-game slate, I really got to trust in ceiling. So probably want guys that can overperform to the max 7-8x value versus settling for 5-6x today. On the Heat side, Jimmy Butler's under 8K on DraftKings. Adebayo 7,300. Like I said, nothing here really just shines as a standout spot. Miami Heat, one of two teams that played into the finals, so they had the fewest rest and recovery time of any team, and probably even fewer when you consider that Dragic and Adebayo were banged up in the finals. So you might even project their minutes to be a little lower on night one than usually. So if I went into 100 lineups today, or if I went into 20 lineups today and had 0% of this game, I don't feel like I would be regretting it after lock. Am I sleeping on anyone, chat or Raj, that probably should be introduced into the player pool?
I mean, I think we're on the same page here. These first 3 games of the slate just aren't that exciting. I want to say both teams above average defensively, both not the fastest teams in the league, both bottom half. Again, could guys like Vooch and Bam get you, Vooch at 8K, get you that 50, Bam, get you that 50 at 7-3? Sure. But I mean, that center position is just so deep, and we have a lot more of a sure thing with guys like Embiid, Towns, Jokic, Drummond. So playing those guys at center, a bit of an opportunity cost there. I think Jimmy Butler is probably the lowest scoring 7K and above guy on the slate. So I'll just have 0 of him, not a touch. And
okay. Yeah, I mean, so like, there's so many pivots at each price range that you really just have to check box. And Jimmy Butler, sure, he's there, but man, Zach LaVine's there, SGA's potentially there. So I don't want to. I don't want to diss on Butler early, but yeah, it's like it's just a game that doesn't excite me. So I'll probably matriculate on to the next one and keep it going. We got our first 230 total of the slate breakdown. We got the Washington Wizards at the Philadelphia 76ers. Project starting 5 for the Wizards. Russell Westbrook debuting with his new team. Bradley Beal, Danny Addia. I've been working on that one. Davis Bertans, Thomas Bryant taking on Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. A 230 total, 7-point spread in favor of the home team, 76ers. So 7-point kind of giving us an out for a potential blowout. 76ers, new management. A lot of the same faces. I think the names that stick out the most early on, of course, is Westbrook at 9,300. A lot of guesswork to be had here, but if he can show up here and be that bulldog that he was and flirt with triple doubles every night, there might be some meat on the bone at 9,300 where we look back later in the day and we're like, yeah, Westbrook, he does that. He does get triple doubles. With that said, the Sixers generally are pretty solid defensively. Ben Simmons and adding guys like Danny Green, removing guys like Al Horford. So it's not a spot that I would like project insane production. But in and of themselves, man, the price points for this total, 93 on Westbrook, 85 for Beal, 81 on Beal on FanDuel. Definitely some meat on the bone there. And, right, I think when you think about what makes the most sense on the surface, right, Zach LaVine right there at that price point or SGA. But if you spin the wheel, range of outcomes, are we shocked if Bradley Beal outscores an SGA or a Zach LaVine? It's not stunning, right? So it's one of those backdoor pivots in 100 lineups for me that I'm keeping. Same with Russell Westbrook. I think a lot of people are going to go right to Luka Doncic, rightfully so. But it's just one of those game theory, deep field tournament ideas. Like, is Westbrook going to be under 10% owned tonight at 93?
He might be.
It very well. I think the majority of the field might be under 15%, and a couple of guys break 20%. Like the must-play values, and maybe the Houston drama shakes things up. Joel Embiid, 9,800. I'm in love with Andre Drummond, but the Washington Wizards were a team that were really, really porous against bigs last year. Joel Embiid's going to be a usage hog. Maybe you worry about the amount of minutes he plays early in the season. Maybe they ramp him up. But certainly, guy, 50, 60 fantasy points is in his wheelhouse. Again, I'm just enamored with the price point on Andre Drummond that I probably don't have to regret myself too much. But, I mean, this total, this pace, Westbrook's a brick. They're going to chuck some bricks here. This Wizards team is really full of guys that can shoot threes, or I'll say that will attempt threes. So plenty of rebounds to go around for a guy like Joel Embiid. And then Tobias Harris, 6,200. That's really cheap. I got him at almost 6x on the nose, early soft projection. So Tobias could just be there as a stock and stuffer play. But yeah, our first 2:30 game, man, we got to pull some names away from this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Washington is going to be top 3 in pace this year and probably bottom 3 in defense. They just added Westbrook to a team that was already one of the worst defensive teams in the league. So this is the team we're going to attack all season. I mean, give me some Ben Simmons, 8,700. It's a bit of a high price to pay. Triple-double threat in this spot, like him. I think Tobias Harris is the best play on the game. At his price, 6,200, up and down game. He's going to chuck some shots. Maybe he falls into, that 10-rebound double-double bonus. So you give him 24 points, 10 rebounds, a couple of assists, a block here at 6,200. Give me that. And with Embiid, it's just an opportunity thing. Center spot. If you want to play Embiid and Drummond together, you probably can't play a Luka, a Giannis. So you just have to kind of weigh your options there. But don't hate the play. Play Sixers. And Washington, I'm not in love with Beal just because I think Westbrook's going to take a ton of that usage. Westbrook's probably going to have 25% plus. Beal will be there too.
I mean, a lot of Westbrook usage is passing the ball. So I don't know, man. I wouldn't sleep on Beal just yet. I really think – I don't think Russell Westbrook showed up thinking this is his team now. I still think they want to work with Beal.
I hear you. So, like, the names beside him, you have Booker, Beal, Mitchell, LaVine.
Right. Yeah, when you put all those when you put all those names on the table, like some of the other names stand out. Like I said, Zach LaVine and SGA, they're going to stand out a lot more. I'm just saying, in the back of our mind, if Zach LaVine goes 5 for 20 instead of 12 for 20, and Bradley Beal hits, it's just a range of outcome that is possible. So I'm there, and especially when you put the Wizards from to playing from behind. Bradley Beal's a guy that will probably project to play probably amongst the most minutes on the entire slate, unless like Houston dresses 5. So I think the plausibility is there. So he's in my head. I don't know if he makes 20 lineups, but if I was getting to 100, 150, absolutely Bradley Beal's in there just because it's a 230 total. And Sixers might underwhelm in this spot. I don't think I'm dancing with Simmons here. And Joel Embiid, I would get to an 100 and 20 or less at 10K. Is there a tough price tag? Is there a ton of meat on the bone? And I don't know that. Yeah. Not when I got Drummond projecting for freaking 8x for crying out loud. What's up, chat? What up, Adrian? DFS Cast says Fultz projecting solid in your model. Lowry and Wendell projecting as chalk. I don't know about that one. I don't think there's going to be what we know as chalk today. Other than like 3K Patrick Williams or
Luka is at 33%.
okay, Luka I can get to. What I mean, like, there might be like less than 5 players.
Oh yeah, on this big of a slate.
And then the rest is just like spread out. And I don't know that like I know that game should be really high scoring. I love that game stack, but I don't know that I would see Lauri Markkanen being that high owned, or even Wendell Carter, especially when there's so much beef at the top of the center position. Get different elsewhere. I'll play chalk if it's good chalk. I agree. I'm not going to play Luka because he's going to be chalk. He's the best player on the slate. I'm with that. Joseph says, should I trade Donovan Mitchell and Michael Porter Jr. for Zion and DeJounte Murray? Head-to-head points, ESPN. I feel like that's very open-ended, but I would. Give me Zion, yeah, for sure. Especially if it's like a dynasty. You get to hold on to that one, or even a keeper. And DeJounte Murray, I'd probably want DeJounte Murray over MPJ for now. Tobias Harris is a play at that price point, I agree. I don't even love this game with the total. Yeah, because I do think that there's a range of outcomes where this game gets a little lopsided, but I also am not quick to forget how underwhelming the Sixers were on the back end of last season. And it also, maybe it takes him some time to ramp up Embiid to where he needs to be.
I think this game stays close.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
This is more DFS orientated. Maybe there's people. Okay, thanks. So Drummond over Embiid on FanDuel. Points per dollar. Like when I opened this slate, especially early in the season, really any slate, the sites are messing up on prices on certain players. Like Patrick Williams is 3K bare bones min on DraftKings. I think he's min priced on FanDuel. Like I think that's an egregious mistake. Andre Drummond against the Charlotte Hornets without Kevin Love. Like if I think a guy can obliterate their price point, those are guys I want to put in my core. So
do you have his ownership projection? I mean, like if he starts trending up to like 25-30% too, is it a game theory pivot off?
I mean, I gotta assume that I'm not the only guy that thinks Andre Drummond could go bananas today. But so me being as enamored with Andre Drummond, especially on a site like FanDuel when I can only have one center, it's gonna inherently I'm gonna have less Jokic, less Karl-Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid. So I don't think Joel Embiid is a bad play in and of himself. I do think meat on the bone is a little thin on night one. Back in the new season where the Sixers were one of the teams that had less offseason due to the bubble. The Wizards didn't have to worry about all that. What's up, Crispy? Also had Nance, so I pivoted to Embiid. Drummond. I have Drummond just points per dollar. I just think Drummond could be the highest scorer on the slate. So that's just where I'm at. Even the Guru is back. Oh, the homie. I'm talking about Mo. Yeah, man. I peeked in Mo last night, man. I love Mo. I'm gonna reach out to him. I really want to do some stuff with other content creators in the space. So just getting people on to shoot slates down and stuff like that. So I definitely want to see if he's got an afternoon open once the holidays pass and we get into the thick of things. So if somebody's out there, let them know. Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. This is our TNT game of the night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Project starting 5 for the Bucks. New guard Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez taking on Jeff Teague, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Daniel Tice. It's a 4-point spread in favor of the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. Kemba Walker will be out for a bit. That's going to leave a 4K opportunity for Jeff Teague as the projected starter for the Celtics here. Even Marcus Smart might get some primary ball handling duties. I think what we need to remember is the stretch that Jason Tatum went on last year without Kemba. But I think the sites remembered too. He's almost 10K on FanDuel, 9,200 on DraftKings. So you do feel a little bit uncomfortable, especially considering that the Bucks, although they're fast-paced and they're going to force you to score, they are a team that defensively match up pretty well against a guy like Jason Tatum. And then Jaylen Brown's there as well. I tend to be the low guy on the Celtics on just about every slate, right? Their metrics just seem so spread. Like Brad Stevens has such a spread out unit Usually, the paces are down. It's usually scrappy games. So on a 13-game slate, I feel like I'm going to be there again. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, 10.2K on DraftKings, a $1,300 discount to his price point on FanDuel. If this game stay close, if you ever get an opportunity to play 34 minutes of Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's a guy that can 1.5, 1.8x his price point, or excuse me, 1.5, 1.8x fantasy point per minute. Could be one of those obvious spots. Like I said, I think the knee-jerk reaction is go get Luka, right? But Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he outscores Luka tonight, no one's stunned in retrospect. So it's definitely somebody that I would say don't forget about. I think on FanDuel you'll probably see some lineups that include both of them, but I don't think that would be like a high percentage of a lineup. So just the tournament mindset here, man. Giannis Antetokounmpo over Luka. You know, how often does he outscore him in a 4-point game? Especially, you know, who went out there and got paid and he's going to make a statement here. Raj, what are you doing with Giannis? Are you still Luka over Giannis? I think I'm still Luka over Giannis, but I got to be here and thinking all of the range of outcomes, especially for deep tournaments.
Yeah, I'm still Luka over Giannis, but you give Giannis a full game here, 35, 38 minutes in a game that we all expect to be competitive. I mean, you can see Giannis easily going there for 60, 65, or, you know, matching what Luka does. Seems like a great tournament play if you want to pivot off Luka. So, I mean, give me on the Giannis, 10-2. He's probably an 11K guy, so play a ton of Giannis. Other than that, I'm not looking at Middleton or Drew Holiday. I mean, Drew's 6'9". I think that price is a little interesting. I think we kind of have to wait and see what his roles in the offense. Didn't play a ton in the preseason, you know, so didn't get a full look. But, you know, I think we'll learn him the first week and then maybe go to him. In Boston, I mean, Tatum might be the 9K guy that can go off, that no one plays just because he's Jason Tatum. And, you know, Boston's kind of very, very kind of team-oriented. We saw in the playoffs what he can do. Is he going to chuck 25 shots or is he going to chuck 15? He chucks 25, he's probably going to get there for you. 15, not so much. So at 9-2, still on the fence there. Don't hate it. Other than that, are you playing any Jaylen Brown, 6'7"?
I'm probably not, but Jaylen in a pace-up spot with no Kemba, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we would be running to these guys if Kemba was ruled out right now.
Mm-hmm. 4 of Giannis Antetokounmpo's last 6 games against the Celtics, 67 or more DraftKings points.
Okay. Yeah.
Price point is low, man. It's just one of those don't get stuck on one guy. And I think
you play him and Luka together?
I mean, if there's a night to make it work, it's a 13-game slate opening night.
Yeah, you know there's going to be those 3K guys that just go off for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, 13-game slates are inherently studs and scrubs anyway. But yeah, certainly ways to get it. And that's the beauty of a 13-game slate, because you can make studs and scrubs feel good. You can make balanced lineups feel good. It's just one of those, I don't know, it's just like a field trip for DFS. You can make lineups however you want them and feel like no matter what, you're a little different because how diverse the field will be tonight on so many options. So it's definitely in play. I think on DraftKings I'm a little bit more of a buyer than on FanDuel. But yeah, I mean, he's right there. And the key with Giannis for me is just if I can get full minutes out of him, I'm in it. And I think you put Giannis on TV, new contract, statements to be made, I'm there.
Coming off a playoff failure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm probably low on the Celtics here. If Tatum popped off for 50, it wouldn't shock me, but he's probably going to need that at 9-2. Chat, what do you guys got on this one? Anything? Tony Cantillo says, I love Jeff Teague here. Sway McThunder if the game's Houston. I don't get the Teague love. No upside, really. 4K, yeah, I get being a little down, right? Because we could more than likely just see Marcus Smart run the point. Definitely not something I'm jamming in. I need massive ceiling potential from everybody in my poll tonight just because of how big the slate is. And I definitely could see Teague being at, like, if Teague got 20, like right now you're playing with 4K and you're not really thinking, oh yeah, I'll take 20 from Jeff Teague.
You need your 4K guys to get you like 35 DKP today.
Yeah, generally to win a tournament you probably need 8-9x from your 3Ks anyway.
Yeah.
It is Drew 6x. You think it's possible? 6,900 on DraftKings. I don't. I mean,
I'm gonna wait and see with him. Like, I just want to see how he's used in the offense here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a wait and see for me.
I don't think he's gonna be. Yeah, I think Giannis is it for me. When when those Giannis load management games start happening, then we start flirting with it. But I don't think it's 7K. I'm pushing the issue here. If he got 40 even, and I faded 40 at 6-9, I feel like I still made the right move, right? You can make lineups with Harden, Luka, Giannis, and actually look good. That's the thrill of opening night 13-game slates, right? 13 games with not really a lot of good options. I don't know, man.
There's a lot.
There's definitely some deep thinking to be had. I will say, I'll warn you guys now more than ever, you're doing your research early, and you're making these decisions, you're making these observations and stuff like that. Don't let some news at 15 minutes before lock get you off some value that you already are. Like, I could definitely see Houston shaking up the slate, and then people are running to play like PJ Tucker or something ridiculous. Like, don't let that happen. Stick to your guns. Obviously, have a plan of action, right? Like, okay, yeah, Christian Wood definitely projects like a smash play now, even without some concrete information on what's going to happen. But like, maybe don't sell the farms or sell the bag, as the gamers say, to go get some of that 8% random G League guard. I don't know. Yeah. Let's move on to the next game here. Pelicans and the Toronto Raptors. Project starting 5 for the Pelicans. Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Stone Cold Steven Adams is going to get one board. What? Up against the Raptors. Project starting 5, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Aaron Baines. 228.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Toronto Raptors. Higher total. Pelicans, one of those eyes up, pay attention games last year, always pushing the pace, but they did change things up, right? Alvin Gentry going into Stan Van Gundy, and the Raptors a little different with Aaron Baines instead of like Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, guys like that. So the Pelicans are fully healthy. I think a lot of their games last year, we noticed that 2 or 3 guys were out almost every night. Zion Williamson, 7,500. This is where the thinking man has to ask ourselves, is Zion Williamson going to be a 10K player in 3 weeks, and we're going to be slapping ourselves for not playing him at 7.5, even if the matchup on paper seems tough?
Hell no. It's one of those things where, great player, permanently solid. I mean, they have a lot of mouths to feed right here. I mean, Ingram's going to be there doing his thing. Kind of have Lonzo Ball run the shoulder.
I don't think they have a lot of. Okay, stop. A lot of mouths to feed. They really don't. Lonzo's a pass first guy, right? Eric Bledsoe is Eric Bledsoe. Bi and Zion is your scoring probably.
Yeah, I mean, those
Steven Adams. You don't have to feed Steven Adams. So I don't think they have a lot of mouths to feed. And I think Zion's going to lead the team in shots.
Points. He rarely gets you the 10 rebounds. I mean, it's like he'll get you 20 points, 4 or 5 rebounds, and 1 assist, which just doesn't get there for you at 7,500. He'll get you 30, 35 DKP a lot, maybe 40 at 7,500. I'll fade. Like, I'm probably not playing any Pelicans today. This is one of those games where I'm just not wanting to play these guys. I think Lonzo Ball may be the most interesting because with no Drew Holiday, his assist percentage jumped up last year from 14% to 24%. So Lonzo's a guy who I think is that triple-double threat at 6,500 that I wouldn't be shocked. So okay. Lonzo, I think, is in play. Other than that, even on Toronto side, Lowry's healthy, VanVleet is there. You got Siakam. Boucher at 4,600. He's coming off the bench. If he gets hot, sure. Again, not ready to play. Aaron Baines, 4,300, starting center against the Pelicans. I think he can get you 30 here. We saw his upside. I think Aaron Baines is in play. If you want to go cheap at center, if you want to play a Luka and Giannis together, you probably want to throw in a guy like Baines at the center spot. Other than that, I'm not in love with this game.
So how much of that is homerism?
No, I mean, if it was homerism, I would have played, give me all the VanVleet, give me all the Siakam. I'm like, I'm probably going to have 0 Siakam.
Dude, sub 7K VanVleet and against the Pelicans? Okay. I don't know. Yeah. So I'll say this. I'm at a crossroads with Zion. I do feel like this – I'm not saying it will be. He could be a 9K player in 2 weeks. He just could be. Let's say the matchup feels a little bit tougher. Siakam, Anunoby might cross up with him a little bit. But and the Raptors have been a tough team at scoring on in the paint. Last year, one of the fewest points in the paint allowed. But Marc Gasol gone, Serge Ibaka gone, Chris Boucher can get in some foul trouble. I think it's worth in 100 lineups. I probably get there in 20
Winning
lineups.
a Baines at 4,300.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, but I mean, we just saw he had massive games with Phoenix last year, like just stupidly massive games.
Yeah, but let's not. He had like a couple of massive games when people were.
It's just it's a starting center against the Pelicans.
Baines is not a thing. All the way lax. All right, chat. What do you guys got? Adam Burt says, I kind of hate pricing this off, honestly. It's going to be wide open. I said last night on a 2-game slate, don't be results orientated. Same with the 13-game slate. Heck, if you want, I posted a video on the members, a members only video right here on the channel yesterday, to hyping up tiers. Play some tiers. If you can consolidate, isolate, and control the slate, whether it be playing a turbo slate, 5-game slate, late slate, or even tiers, go for it, and it'll be a little less overwhelming than just trying to go 1v13 games and see what happens. What up, David Stex? How are you? Dave, DFS Cash Zion projecting for 41 for me, a little less than 6x. Yeah, and that's conservative, right? If conservatively my projections can put you at 6x, and I know that there might be a little meat on the bone here, I'll put you in the mix. Bias from last year's limited Zion training wheels are off. Yeah, a lot of Zion games were babysat, minute restrictions, and Gentry was just kind of watching. This is Zion's team, dude. Like, it's him. And we saw that in the preseason too. There is Carter Plumlee and Whiteside for center value. There's a lot of value at center, but center is a position that there's a lot of ceiling. And I know this is a game of value, right? This is a game of who can sneak me into 7x. But at some point, raw points are raw points. So if a 10K guy drops 70 or a 3K guy drops 35, man, that 70 might find a way into the winning lineup if it's at that center spot, right? So I'm probably not going to get too cute at the center spot just because I know there's so much beef at the top end. I'll float a forward or a guard or something like that a lot faster than I will a center, depending on who the center is. Whiteside's a guy we know can explode if we can put a healthy minutes projection to him. But some of these other guys, Aaron Baines, the Plumlees, the Zellers, and stuff like that, maybe have a glass ceiling. Like, they'll satisfy us in and of themselves at their price point for maybe a Giannis Luka lineup. But generally, I want that ceiling from that center spot today, right? Today. How do we fit in 4 centers tonight? Get 2 at forward, then util? Yeah, that's one way. Adams is on Zion's team. Yeah. Oh, did Rod say something stupid?
I did not.
I did not. Chat, let me know if any news drops, by the way. I don't get to have this second screen full of the live news. By the way, almost 80 of you guys watching on the first stream. Appreciate you guys. 26 thumbs up, though, man. You want to show me some love? Hit that thumbs up. I would surely appreciate it. Let's get to probably the game of the night. Everyone's favorite game. The Atlanta Hawks taking on the Chicago Bulls. Project starting 5 for the Hawks. Trae Young, Bogdan Bogdanović, DeAndre Hunter, Danilo Gallinari, John Collins taking on Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Otto Porter Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and Wendell Carter Jr. A 232.5 total. Atlanta favored by 2. All 4 games that the Bulls played the Hawks last year, they blew them out. And the Hawks were limping, and they just weren't the same team, right? This is a new and improved team, adding strong pieces behind Trae Young, like Bogdan, like Gallinari. This game should be exciting. With that said, the Bulls also lost a couple pieces. Chris Dunn is going to that's going to take a hit on their guard and wing defense. A lot of people might not realize that. They also going to get a couple pieces back. Wendell Carter Jr., a little healthy. So I think this game has full shootout potential. I think price-wise, this is a very stackable game. Even 9,400 Trae Young, right? He's just kind of floating. He exists. If we're talking about, Luka and Giannis and stuff like that, you're likely not going to have a Luka, Giannis, Trae Young line unless you really go dumpster diving. But this is a game I could 3v3 game stack if it goes to overtime and just hope we got the right pieces. Starting with the Hawks side, Trae Young, we kind of have a rule in the fam. It's 20%, right? 20%.
Yep,
you
20%.
play 20%. And I broke this rule in preseason, and it burned me. But right now I got him projected at a soft 50 on DraftKings. He's a guy that will likely double-double with points and assists. And then considering the matchup, he might add a little bit more to it. Bogdanovich, new team. This is a guy that was a point per minute for me elsewhere. 31 minutes on him. I got him almost a point per minute here, 30 minutes here, or 30 fantasy points here. Gallo's kind of a wait and see, right? He was kind of at this price, 5-6K all year last year on DraftKings with the Thunder. And he was just kind of average play more often than he wasn't. And then John Collins, 7,600. He has potential to be a 45 fantasy point, 50-plus fantasy point guy himself. We saw some of that PPM potential in preseason. So plenty of very viable plays for the Hawks. I could definitely isolate. By the way, my new place, right next to train tracks. Like, I can't escape trains. The last 3 setups I've had, there's always trains. This is freaking state, bro. But Trae Young, Bogdan, John Collins is where I would start penciling names for my stack on the Atlanta side. I do have Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter projected at 28, 25 minutes. So maybe they do something with that. Then we look over on the Bulls side. Colby White, 6,500. Had some strong, slow-burning games in preseason. A lot of it was a little bit more scoring dependent. Zach LaVine, 7,900 on both sides. AK, I expect him to lead his team in minutes. Probably going to lead his team in shot attempts. This should be a pace-up matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. They were a fast-paced team last year. So I love Zach LaVine today. He was one of the featured guys on today's video. Otto Porter Jr. may or may not start. There was games in the preseason where they started Pat Williams over him and let him come off the bench for the second unit. No matter what, I'm kind of intrigued here. I think if Otto Porter came off the bench, I'm kind of a little bit of a buyer at 4,600 on FanDuel. But if he didn't start, Patrick Williams is bare bones min price on both sites. Off the bench or starting, I got him at 28.5 minutes. And you can make a case that's probably better if he's off the bench. It's the Atlanta Hawks, right? This isn't some like star-studded team where we got to worry about the rookie. This is the 4th overall pick, 3K. Like, what? So Patrick Williams likely going to project as one of the highest owned players on the slate, just being part of a 232 total at that price point, and that's where I'm gonna buy the value. I hope this isn't like an Eric Pascal spot from last night, but it just seems like the opportunity cost is way too low to avoid. And then Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. both really cheap on DraftKings, under 5K. Somebody mentioned in chat that they were projecting 20+% owned. I can see it now. I didn't really quite digest that they were that cheap. Hawks were a very porous team against bigs last year. Wendell Carter Jr. certainly someone that can be a point per minute. So those are going to be guys I have to really ask myself if they'll satisfy ceiling versus just hitting value on an average day. What I mean by that, if we say Markkanen's 5K, 30's nice. But if I think he's going to be a little, 20, if 1 in 4 people have him and he just hits 30, can I, just kind of mix and match my points elsewhere to where I can get a little bit more return on investment? So I might be low on Markkanen, but Wendell Carter has a super strong case. But LaVine sticks out the most for me. I think no matter what, guys like Colby White, Trae Young, they're going to be hit and miss a lot because they're going to be at their price points very, very volatile and a variety of range of outcomes. But give me all the Zach LaVine here. He might be part of my core tonight. Him, Drummond, SGA if that game happens. Really not too different than what the video was yesterday. Raj, did I miss anything? Patrick Williams, man, bare bones min. Do you have to play him?
You don't have to play, but I think Atlanta and Washington are probably the 2 teams throughout the year we're going to attack the most. So give me all. I mean, either Wendell Carter or Lauri Markkanen will break the slate. I think one of those guys is just going to have a massive game, and you're going to need all of them. 4,800 for Markkanen, 44. One of them definitely going to have 35, 40 DK points. So keeping them in the pool. I love Colby White in this spot. I mean, he was insanely hot at the end of last year.
I don't think 35 breaks the slate, by the way. 40 is pushing it. 35. Wendell Carter.
Their prices. Okay, yeah, I'm 40. They got their prices.
But that's literally what I just said a minute ago. If Wendell Carter Jr. comes out here and drops 35 today, That's huge
Yeah.
for his price point. But if Drummond drops 60 at 8K, a couple of these other centers, the raw points will start getting you where you need to be.
That's true.
So
I guess marketing will probably be a little more popular than just because you can put him at power forward.
Yeah, and I disagree. Like, Lauri Markkanen played last year. Like, he was not a guy on the court with LaVine, like, with these shoot. And we're adding a guy like Kobe White over Chris Dunn. Kobe White's going to shoot the ball more than Chris Dunn.
Kobe White's going to probably, he's going to – I mean, his usage is going to be up there with LaVine. LaVine will be probably, 28, 29%. But actually, Kobe White's being 22, 23%. So he'll definitely be the second guy there. At his price, $6,500, he's the guy at that price that gives you that 45, 50-point upside.
He could.
So I think
I do wonder long term if Kobe White's going to be a great tournament play. Is Zach LaVine going to be a great tournament play?
I think against the Hawks, you can almost play them both.
In this
and one
scenario.
gets you 50, the other gets you 40.
But like when I go to my optimizer and I start writing correlations, I probably want maybe long term. Maybe tonight against the Hawks, sure. But I feel like Kobe White's ceiling versus Zach LaVine's ceiling, they're both going to need a lot of real points, especially Kobe White. So maybe I decrease the amount of overlap between them and when I set correlations and stuff like that. But 6,500, it could just be an average play. Right? It just could just be a 30 sitting there. We'll take it. But I have reservations about locking both of them a lot.
I'm just going to have all four in the pool. Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Markkanen, and Wendell Carter. And the Atlanta side, I mean, Trae Young, is it a fade Trae Young day, 9,400? If you want 20%, sure, that's the rule.
So it's just from a DFS standpoint, like if people are going after Luka and Giannis, and I think Drummond's going to be high owned too.
Yeah,
I haven't really absorbed ownership projections, but is Trae Young really projected to be high owned? I kind of want to do when it comes to Trae Young, I kind of want to be opposite of the field. Right? Yeah. If he's chalked in, all right, I want some leverage because he's volatile and being the other side.
I have him at he's at 6%.
I mean, why you can't you cannot not what
6% projected ownership. I mean, do I think with Capella out, we saw when John Collins when he shifts over, play some center. I mean, Trae Young and John Collins can both combine for 100 DK points, maybe 110.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hate it. Don't hate that combo at all. I mean, do I think guys like Bogdan and Gallinari take away some shots from a guy like John Collins? Maybe. I think Trae Young's going to get his because it's Trae Young. But
Trae Young will his assist percentage is so high.
Yeah.
So no matter what, Trae Young could 20, 15, 30, 15 really in this spot.
True. And no Rondo, no Chris Dunn. So he has all the playmaking duties.
Yeah. If he's 6% owned, I want it.
Yeah. I mean, so Bogdan's their backup point guard today.
If he's starting. I mean, Cam Reddish Jr., we've seen him play some guard. Brandon Goodwin, I think, also. But Trae Young has played deep minutes, right? It is one of those non-bubble teams, or two of those non-bubble teams. They don't have to worry about 70 days of rest. Heck, they had longer rest than usual. So if Trae Young comes out here and plays 36, 37 minutes in a shootout at 6%,
don't hate it.
That's lucrative to me. Dang Lazy Motherfucker says Gallo is the Jeff Fisher of DFS. Oh, down to Gallinaro. Yeah. Fam, it's the Hawks.
Talk about it.
Lauri was used terribly last year. He just stood there. Donovan will have Lauri attacking again. I don't think that's crazy to assume. I also think, maybe there's something to be said that Lauri Markkanen and the Bulls did not reach a deal. I have a question. In your opinion, what is the second best league in the world? Basketball, Australian League, the South American League? I don't think I'm qualified to answer that one. I would say I think Australian is really passionate about basketball. People sleep on that. LaVine and Lauri are my favorites. I love LaVine. I like Kobe White too, but I just think LaVine has the highest floor here. I think Kobe White could range of outcome 25 to 45, and I think 30 in the middle is probably something that happens more often than not, but I'm there. Let's move on to the next game. Oklahoma City. Do we even talk about this game? Jesus. Let's keep it real good. Thunder, Houston Rockets. Rockets are going through it today. No one really knows as of now who's going to play for the Rockets. Keep your ear to the ground on this one. You guys are big adults. James Harden rumored to be breaking COVID protocol. He's also already had COVID. I don't know if that means anything. And then there's contact tracing going on. Apparently the boys went and got a barber come into an apartment to give him haircuts. Guys like DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, affected, impacted. This is the game to put your ear to the ground on, pay attention to. I don't think we're going to chop it up. If this game plays, SGA remains in the core. Yeah. Obviously, Houston, I think they were at 1.5 to 7 point favorites. The Lions moved to -2. Houston, might even see this be a pick'em. Oklahoma City looks pretty soft on the surface. George Hill, Lou Dortz, Baisley, Al Horford. I just play SGA, and that would be where it's at. Also, Christian Wood, no matter what right now, stands to reason he should be a super solid play. If everyone's out, looks like Christian Wood was not impacted by this contact tracing. Wood could be one of those guys that 9X is his price point is 6,300, should assume so much usage. So that's where I'm at on that. I really don't want to exhaust too much time breaking it down because anything's liable to happen between now and tip off. So yeah, right. No other crazy things, right? Like I don't know. What a nightmare that is for opening night, right?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next game. Timberwolves hosting the Detroit Pistons. Project starting five for the Pistons. Killian Hayes, DeLon Wright, Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin, Mason Plumlee taking on D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Josh Okogie, Jake Layman, and Karl Anthony Towns, the big cat, Ernie Ladd. 224.5 total, 6-point spread favor the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Pistons, 3,900 for Hayes. He could be one of those value plays that gets you there, especially if you're like me. You want to go top heavy at the center position. You put a Hayes, you put a Pat Williams in the mix. It won't be too hard to accomplish that. Minute-wise, I got Jeremy Grant right now leading the team in minutes. He's under 5K. Timberwolves were one of those poorest teams defensively last year that we went and picked on. So I definitely could take a piece of that. Jeremy Grant's been kind of more of a role player in the last couple seasons. And this might be a team where he's more involved. So I might be a buyer on Jeremy Grant 47. Could I get 30 out of him? 35 out of him is very possible. He's small forward eligible, I believe. So I'll take a piece of that. And then Blake Griffin. I've been so wrong on Blake in the past, right? When it used to be if Blake Griffin was AK, I'm playing him no matter what. Like it was that. And then you put him on a team with Drummond and Derrick Rose and then injuries and then minutes and blah, blah, blah. Things are a little bit different now. Is Blake Griffin at 7,200? Are we going to regret this at the end of the night when Griffin has 50 before his annual injury? Maybe something to think about. And then Mason Plumlee, 3,700. I got him currently at 26 minutes. We know he can be a point per minute. You guys have mentioned that there are some steep value potentials at the center position. Plumlee, I think, leads the pack on DraftKings just because we know the minutes are there for him. 30 fantasy points is not out of the question. It's not out of the realm of possibility for Mason Plumlee. He's been a point per minute guy. The matchup against Cat, there are really two different archetypes of players when it comes to being a center. But I definitely think there's so much meat on the bone at that price point. And then on the Timberwolves side, D-Russ and Cat are really the two guys I'm considering. And Cat's pushing 10K, so it's kind of right there at that Joel Embiid spot where I like him. I think he can do fine in this matchup. But am I going to have money for him? Or am I going to have a spot for him if I really think, Andre Drummond's in such a mismatch? So that's where I'm there on that. Oh, what are your knee-jerk reactions to this one? Hayes, DeLon Wright. I mean, first of all, this Pistons team is so ugly. Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, what are you doing?
It's ugly, but they're cheap. I mean, Hayes, he had about a 20% usage or 21% usage rate in preseason. Going to have all the playmaking duties when Rose is on the bench. So, I mean, I think he's going to be in the pool at 3,900. Like the price. I think Jeremy Grant might lead this team in scoring. Like, I mean, with the money they paid him, I feel like
maybe
they're going to try to feature him offensively. He had a kind of a breakout postseason, which is why he got paid. So at 4,700 against Minnesota, I think one of the teams you're going to attack all season. Give me some Jeremy Grant. I think Plumlee will be the highest scoring 3K guy today. So I think he's probably going to be my favorite option. We saw anytime Plumlee started for Denver when Jokic was out, he did fine. 3,700. He's getting the minutes against Cat. Give me all the Mason Plumlee. He's definitely one of the cheap locks today. And Minnesota, Cat's just tough to get to. The center so deep. and with the value guys. So probably going to have no cat. Russell at 7,200 is interesting. I mean, we know his upside's 50 points. He's usually like an 8K guy, 8,500, so you're getting a bit of a discount.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at 7,200, could he outscore Levine, who's going to be a lot more popular? Sure. So I think might have some Russell in the pool just because of his price tag. I think these Detroit guys, you have to get them right. Their prices are cheap. They're going against Minnesota. Kind of know where the minutes are going.
Do we though? I mean, do we though? I don't know.
I mean, you got Hayes, the rookie. He should get 30, 28, 30.
So he's the guy I'm most. I like Plumlee.
Plumlee,
I think 37. I think
Okafor.
right. I think Plumlee can dub.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's a must for me just yet. I don't know.
I just don't know a 3K guy who I'd want to lock in more than him.
I mean, I get that. If I'm going to play if I'm going to bet on value,
Yep.
Under 4K center against the T-Wolves, decent pace, decent porous defense, all that stuff.
He's the guy.
But I don't know if I'll lock that in. It's the same. I mean, literally, we've talked about this several times in this stream. Like, am I giving up ceiling raw points for other guys if I take 30
on DraftKings, you can play
Plumlee?
Drummond and him together. Throw in Luka and Giannis.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, these are strictly DK plays on my half.
Young C says D Rose revenge game. Detroit's roster looks at Detroit is probably the worst managed team in basketball. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's some dumpster fires going on right now, but because Detroit had chances to fix it. Like, the draft was terrible. They gave away Luke Kennard. Like, what? It's so bad.
With what the Clippers paid him,
Yeah,
I don't know if that's such a bad thing.
I mean, I don't know. All right, let's move on to the next game. Memphis Grizzlies hosting the San Antonio Spurs. We got 230 total. Project starting five for the Spurs: Dejounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, maybe DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, Jakob Poeltl, taking on Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game. How'd they get tickets? Brandon Clark, Jonas Valanciunas. So this is one of the. I love this game stack too. I think a lot of eyes are going straight to the Hawks and Bulls game if we're talking about stackable opportunities. This game's so stackable. Look at the price points here. 84 for Ja Morant. That's cheaper than Trae Young. Jonas Valanciunas 71. There's no Jaren Jackson, so Brandon Clark, somebody that could potentially get there. On the Spurs side, Dejounte Murray really tickling me at 5,600. There's no Derek White. Could Murray be a 40 guy? He's definitely a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. DeMar DeRozan 7,300 could get to 40. But my favorite is probably LaMarcus Aldridge. He has an incredible track record against the Memphis Grizzlies lately. And he's 6,500 on DraftKings. I definitely think I can push 40 plus. He was featured on the video yesterday. And Pop wants him to shoot threes a little bit more. Keep it by game log versus Grizzlies. Let's go last 10 games. And he didn't really shoot for like an insane percentage, but I think he took 10 threes in his last game. Only hit 3 of them, but he's chucking, right? So 39, 65, 32, 45. If you got any of these last 4 games at this price point, you wouldn't really feel disappointed. Like 32, you would probably want more, but you don't feel like you're dead in the water because he only got you 32. So I definitely think Aldridge strikes me as somebody at 65 on DraftKings that I'm going to have a nice chunk of. And it's it's $1,000 difference than what he's on FanDuel. So I it could be one of those spots where I have almost none of Aldridge on FanDuel, but I have a whole bunch on DraftKings. I just like him a lot. And then with Derek White out, you could look at some more minutes here, maybe for Patty Mills off the bench. And then don't sleep on Rudy Gay. He had some strong stuff in the preseason. He probably is going to lead the bench in minutes. I got him at 26.5. Could he push 30-plus fantasy points? Definitely a potential stocking stuffer. So I do like several of these guys here. I think this is a 230 game stack that is very economically priced if you're trying to game stack, right? If you 2v2, 3v3, a Murray, a DeRozan, Aldridge versus a Morant, even a Dylan Brooks, man, he can get there. Little less consistent, but he can get there. And then Brandon Clark, like I said, and Jonas Valanciunas, man. J-Val. Is it a J-Val
That guy.
night?
Yep.
When no one's talking about him. Spurs were certainly a team that left a lot to be desired on defense last year, and they gave up a decent chunk of points in the paint. So I don't mind that at all. And Memphis Grizzlies last year were amongst some of the teams scoring most of their points in the paint, whether it be John Morant driving to the rim, or even a guy like Jonas or Jaren Jackson. So I do like Morant and J-Val in some deep field tournaments.
Yeah, I think this is probably like my third favorite game on the slate. Top 3 game next to Washington, Philly, Atlanta, Chicago. Memphis, top 5 team in pace last year. San Antonio's going to run with him here. So, give me John Morant. I love the J-Val play, especially in tournaments. We know what J-Val can do. You give J-Val 30 plus minutes, he literally gets you like 40 plus. Like, this is he might be one of the most consistent guys when he gets 30 minutes. It's just if he gets 23 or 30. So at 7-1, huge upside there. Start of the season, could I see the coach playing him 35, no injuries? Yeah, so give me J-Val, give me John Morant. And the San Antonio side, you mentioned Murray, DeJounte Murray, and Aldridge. I like that. DeRozan has pretty good history against Memphis too.
Yeah,
45
Memphis were just a fast-paced team last year that made you score and keep up. So I like it. And I usually like to push back on J-Val, but no Jaren Jackson. It's there. And
this could be like a real.
Bruno
He could have like a 60-point type of deal here.
Yeah.
DKP, a massive game.
Spurs floor spacing going to be trash. Pop will figure it out. We'll see. I definitely I don't think the Spurs are like a contender, but for this game in a bubble, yeah, I'll take it. No one else like DeLon Wright as a tournament play guy gets peripherals. I definitely think DeLon's one of those guys that if I look back at the end of the night, I'm like, he was a really solid play. Like, he's kind of like Chris Dunn from a DFS standpoint. So I don't think that's crazy. Hey, Danny. What up, Micro Text? Yo, what up, Eric Gilland? My bad. Hope you're doing all right. What's up, Micro? I need a win like a kid need cake. Oh, don't tell me about cake. I'm starving. Bro, 7-day juice fast. This is the 7th day. I'm starving.
Okay. What are you eating tomorrow? Chicken fingers?
No, I'm gonna try and keep it going. I'm just saying,
okay.
I haven't had actual food. Murray has upside here. I agree. I think DeJounte Murray. I don't want to say the word triple double, but I think it's possible. If I had to do a hot fire take,
is he gonna get 30 minutes? That's the other guy where it seems like, with J-Val, if he gets that 30 plus, he usually smashes.
Yeah. Oh, and there was a time where he was on a minutes restriction, or a guy like Derek White would eat into his potential. I think Murray's there, man. I think the changing of the guard is going to begin. So, give me some of that. Kyle Anderson for value, revenge game. I'm good. It's there, but I don't know if I'm. It's there.
He seems like he'll get you 20 DraftKings points, 25.
Yeah, if you show me a line, you said I like Kyle Anderson. I'm like, oh, you like Kyle Anderson? I'm not gonna I get it. I just
he's there.
I have bad history. Sacramento Kings and the Denver Nuggets. Project starting 5 for the Kings: De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Rashawn Holmes. Taking on Jamal Murray, Gary Harris Jr., Michael Porter Jr., Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic. We got a 225.5 total. The Nuggets favored by 7.5. Jokic, one of those 9K centers. Joel Embiid, Karl-Anthony Towns, big boys up there with big boy ceilings. And even in preseason, Jokic kind of flashed there, right? A lot of people just generally assume Jokic is going to start out slow, get into condition. He didn't look bad in preseason. So, it might be a spin, especially I definitely, when I do play Jokic, I do like him at home. So Jokic at 96, he just might be one of those 60 bombs out there happening. 225.5 total, like I said. Kings have a couple of guys that I think in deep field tournaments make sense. Like, I don't think anyone's going to get to De'Aaron Fox at that price point. We got SGA, we got Levine, we got, heck, even, John Morant or Trae Young's not too far out of reach. I don't think people just land on many Kings here. Maybe Hassan Whiteside gets a little bit trendy for center value. But it's not a lot of names here that I think exceed 10% ownership. So I think everyone here is just like a pocket play. Bagley helped me out in preseason with a nice chunk of change. If I can get these minute projections to feel a little bit more comfortable, I got him at 26 right now. if I can stretch that, I'd feel a little bit better. But I don't think this is like a matchup that I'm in love with. So I probably am going to be lower on Kings. I may even just walk into this slate without Kings exposure. 13 games, what are you going to do? I'm not going to have everyone that's a good play. You just have to accept it, right? On the Nuggets side, I kind of feel the same way. Jamal Murray's at 8K. I mean, John Morant, Levine, SGA. I just think Jamal Murray falls through the cracks. That the only name in this game I think I'm curious with is Nikola Jokic and maybe a FanDuel shot on Will Barton. What say you, Raj and Chad?
I mean, shout out to Nakrizi and his boy Nikola Jokic. I mean, he's just one of those guys that I almost want to play a little bit of him every slate just because he has that triple-double upside for a center. Game stays close. He can get you that 25, 10, and 10 at 9,600. Again, I like other centers at their prices a little better, but don't hate him that he's in the pool. Yeah, I mean, Jamal Murray, again, I just think there's a difference in playoff usage of stars versus regular season. People forget in the playoffs, there's no Will Barton. He was hurt.
No.
I want to say that there are a couple other guys or somebody else that was hurt.
Yeah, they're all banged up. Gary Harris is
they're all kind of banged up. So I think Jamal Murray was asked to do a little more. So I think in the regular season he might be a kind of a low 7K type of guy. So 8K, I'm just not going to get there for him. Sacramento side, I like Hassan Whiteside earlier in the day. I mean, there was some possibility. People said he could start at 3,800. Again, kind of the opportunity with centers. If he gets the minutes, sure he get there. But a little bit of risky play. I think I might be fading the Kings. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, interesting 78, but not running to any of these plays.
You'll never learn how to say his name. Yeah, it's pretty simple there. I do have Whiteside early on as like a 27 DKP, which at 3,800 I'd have to think on FanDuel, which I think I'm going to be playing a lot more on FanDuel as long as there's late swap. I just like it more. At 5,600 I don't have to be a buyer. So yeah, let's keep it moving. We got 2 games left, chat. Help me out here. We got 100 viewers, triple digits, man. It's feeling like the old days. Y'all help me out. 33 thumbs up. Can we get that up to maybe 55?
Let's go, chat. Hit the like button. 50 likes, baby.
I was at 5K subscribers, but in the last 2 months, I lost 25 subs. Like, this counts gets purged and whatever. So if we can get to 5K subscribers again before the end of the year, that would make my day. And then we begin the grind. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, subscribe. I do put up daily NBA pick videos, a little bit more consolidated first look guys, and then we'll be bringing these breakdown streams a lot more often. Times to be determined between the afternoon time slot and the night before. But I have arguments for both. Next game on the docket. Do I share this file? No, this file is actually kind of. It's a premium. It's a premium thing. If you have a VIP subscription at RunDFS.com, you can get access to the file. It also have my player projections, and I have projections for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo if you play over there, and then my personal player pool for both sites. If you care about what I'm doing, it's there too. So if you guys want that. It is a premium perk of having a subscription at RunDFS.com. And then also after the stream at the top of the hour, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord in the voice chat. And you guys, no matter who you are, if you have a microphone and a subscription, you click join voice chat and you're in there. You can chop it up with us, make some friends, and be part of a really tight-knit community. But man, I love it. Utah Jazz and the Portland Trailblazers project starting 5 for the Jazz: Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert, taking on Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and Yusuf Nurkic. 226 total, 1.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Utah Jazz. Dame Dollar, man, one of these teams that, we're a bubble team, had to play some deep minutes. Same with the Jazz. 9K for Damian Lillard. I was thinking about this, right? When we're talking about balanced lineups for the 8K guys, right? The Drummonds, the SGAs, and then we talk about, oh man, we got Giannis and Luka in great spots. How many 9K guys like a Damian Lillard, like a Russell Westbrook are there that could just be lurking? And if
I actually forgot Lillard was on the slate. Like, this guy gonna come on.
And Lillard was putting up insane numbers down the bubble, and again, he might be single digit ownership today. So in big field tournaments, I got that feeling in my bad knee, man. Do I take a shot here against the Utah Jazz? I just might. But he's like the only name that really floats to the top. Donovan Mitchell, I think I supersede him. I look at guys, like Dashae, Levine. Those are the standard for me. So I don't think I get to Mitchell. Rudy Gobert's under 7K, but I think Nurkic is, this Covington Nurkic front court. This is not Carmelo Anthony and whoever else playing center last year, right?
You want to talk about a deep starting five? I mean, Portland's starting five is up there. They got a bench deep team.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think there's some validity here. What does Dame do? Damian Lillard DKP by game log versus Utah Jazz last 10 games. Boom. 66.5. So 66.5, 78.5. I think this is. That was in February. So yeah, he's Jesus H, bro. He's dropped 60 or more in 3 of his last 4. 50.
That's crazy.
Dame Dollar might be out there winning someone.
Was McCollum playing? Wait, let me just check. Hold on. Was McCollum playing? He was. Okay.
Yeah. But the minutes are up there. Like 43 minutes. That sounds like maybe an overtime game. But 36, 37, 37. That's not like astronomical minutes for Damian Lillard. Maybe you think opening night. Maybe that's
those averages are interesting. I mean, this guy's averaging 66 in his past 3, like you said.
Yeah, and there's also Jusuf Nurkic is going to be part of the team.
Yeah.
So
and I mean Covington, his guy's going to get his 5 to 10 shots.
Maybe, but okay. But yeah, I'm just saying from a game 30 standpoint, there's some 9K guys that just get lost. They're in no man's land, and Lillard could be that guy. So I definitely dig him. I'm probably not forcing an issue on anybody on the Jazz side, but if you told me Jordan Clarkson at 4,200, if people are out there talking about Jeff Teague, but Jordan Clarkson out here existing at 4,200, I probably want Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But yeah, chat, you guys got any secret nuggets in this one? Raj? Did I just blow your mind?
I mean, Damian Lillard is suddenly just like creeping up, and I see his ownership projection right now is at 3%.
100 lineups. Why wouldn't I grab 6 to 8% of that? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like such a play. I think Damian Lillard is definitely get him in the pool, guys. I've been watching. Get Damian Lillard in the pool. Have some shares. He's going to be low owned, so even 5-10% is fine. Yeah, no, I think it's a great play. Utah side, I'm just going to fade everyone. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's 8K. He's just so up and down. When he gets the assists, when he gets those peripherals, he'll get there. He'll get you 20 real-life points every game. It's just the peripherals is always the question. So I'm probably just going to stay away from him. It's just Damian Lillard this game. I mean, Nurkic is interesting. I just don't know how limited he'll be. Because he's probably like an 8K, 8.5 type of guy. He's 7K right now. So when he's back to being healthy, if you want to jump on that train before that happens, don't hate it.
Looking at the live chat, Tony Cantillo says, Mo, how could you be so Harkley? You missed that. He's in the league. I had to adjust his name earlier somewhere. Harkless, yeah, I think I have him as a starter somewhere. Did I? Let me see. Harkless. I have Harkless starting for the Heat today. So yeah. Anyway, did I miss that? Did I not do the thing? The thing with the thing? Gary Trent Jr. solid value says Antoine Murphy, Donovan Mitchell over Devin Booker. Ooh. So Mitchell's certainly a guy that could be there, but I don't usually play Mitchell unless you start giving me like no Mike Conley or something like that. But I certainly I don't think it's crazy. Like there's a range of outcome where Mitchell versus Lillard pops off, right? Adam says, let's take a second to acknowledge how awful the Gobert contract is.
I mean, it seems pretty standard for the NBA. He's the second best player on his team.
How I miss
he's gonna
Raj
get close to a
Brendan
max.
Fox's name wrong. It's crazy. De'Aaron Fox, he hasn't fixed it in years. So it's just like, okay, well, he's gonna call him De'Arian. All right, I'm warmed up to Lillard. We got one game left on the docket. Pause for the cause. Let you guys know that there is no basketball tomorrow, but Christmas Day, full onslaught of games, 5 games, a lot of big time stuff. Shout out to the NBA for getting that done. Should be a wonderful all-day experience. We'll be sweating it in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. Probably doing the annual stake entry thing that we do. Be a lot of fun. So if you guys are looking to have some fun on Christmas, join me for that. I'll I'll definitely have pick videos up. I don't know if we'll have a full breakdown video, but I don't want to rule it out. I think it's possible. Maybe if you guys show me enough love, we'll put out a 5-game breakdown video. So you guys want to see that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, put notifications on. 38 thumbs up on almost 100 viewers, man. Come on, give me the 50. Give me the 50. Somebody's love. I will say you guys are awesome without hitting the thumbs down. We had, I think the last 2 videos had an insane ratio. But now we're going to get thumbs down. There's going to be somebody out there that does it. But if you guys want to reach out to me, twitter.com/GundackerSports. DMs are open. If you have questions about VIP or anything like that, reach out to me. I love interacting with you guys. And if you guys have questions about the slate, you can tweet at me. And usually if you have a question, somebody else might appreciate that question, and I'll quote tweet it and kind of give my spin. Main event tonight, the late night hammer, 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. The Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns projects to start at 5 for the Mavericks. Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Dwight Powell taking on Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton. We got a 233.5 total. Phoenix Suns favored by 1. Kristaps Porzingis out for the Dallas Mavericks, and that leaves us with Luka Doncic, who has statistically a 9 billion% usage rate. Don't bother looking it up. That's accurate. DKP by game log without Kristaps Porzingis last 10 games. He's going against the Phoenix Suns that, yeah, they're a little different, right? Added Chris Paul is always going to tighten up your defense, but Kristaps Porzingis it's just a guy you can't defend. So many times last year we saw him going against elite defenses, and he just got there. So he's been a guy that generates, almost 2 fantasy points per minute without Porzingis. You look at his game log last year without Porzingis, 38, 34, 34, 27 minutes. There's a couple 70s and 60 bombs there. It's there to happen. On paper, everything in the world is a check mark here for Luka Doncic. You're even putting him on TV. There's a little bit of a narrative there. I think it's the highest total, 233.5. 10K on DraftKings. But he's the highest owned stud, Raj. 13-game slate. The highest owned stud. There's at least a chance, and when we're discussing ownership, that he's not the nuts, right? That he's not the guy that drops 60.
On 13-game slate, he seems like the fade. With how many other guys could outscore him?
Yeah. So again, smash spot, great spot, love him. He can literally drop 80 to 90 tonight. But if you're like, what's the ownership projection you see on him?
30, 33. It was at 30, and now went up 33.
33. So on FanDuel, if you tell me the most expensive guy on a 13-game slate is Chalk, I think Giannis might be higher.
33% on a 13-game slate is pushing like close.
That's insane. So like it's a great spot, but am I gonna leverage myself? In single entry, I might fade him. Like if I want Giannis, or if I want Luka in 100, sure, I'll maybe match the field there. But I think I get into some single entries and fade him. I think he does fine. I think he's a great play, but that type of ownership on a 13-game slate with every stud other than the LeBrons of the world. Like there's so many studs on this slate. He has to be the guy. He has to be the nuts. And there's a lot of responsibility at that price point to be the highest scorer on the slate at that ownership, that you have to have him. So in my head, my wheels are turning to try and make 20 entry and even single entries, 3 entries without him. And then if I want to get exposure to him, maybe I'll do that in like the 100 entries or the 100 lineups or whatever. So that's just kind of the thought I'm having early on. Whenever I see the most expensive guy or one of the most expensive guys, like 11-4 on FanDuel, think about that. That's so crazy. I could save $3,000 and like go get Westbrook or Trae Young or something like that. I just think there's so much opportunity and leverage to be had just by itself without being results orientated pre-flop. There's just so much leverage just sitting there on a 13-game slate that really maybe shouldn't be there. But great play otherwise on paper. I can't dog him for that. Anyone else on the Mavericks besides Luka that kind of stands out to you? This is the Phoenix Suns that has never really been a lockdown defense, but this adding Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, it's a little different, right? It's a little different. So I do think maybe the Suns might improve defensively, and maybe they're not giving up 120 points here. The Suns side, Devin Booker's 9K, Chris Paul's 7K. There was some questions whether or not he would play. Looks like he's a full go. DeAndre Ayton, 7-6 on FanDuel, 7-3 on DraftKings. I mean, Porzingis is certainly somebody that last year took strides defensively. He was a high block guy. But DFS, Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, I mean, they're all solid. But I think DeAndre Ayton, especially giving him a point guard like Chris Paul that can feed him, I think DeAndre Ayton's underpriced. So I might have a little bit of that if I'm looking for some late-night hammers here. What are some of the names standing out to you?
I'm thinking, you think Luka's the only guy that's going to do work on Dallas? I want to say either like a Tim Hardaway or Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson had a pretty big game in the preseason, a couple. So I could see him having, if he gets hot.
I don't know if I'm ready for the J-Rich.
I'm telling you, he's the number 2 option here right now. So J-Rich at 5,300, could he get you 20 real-life points?
You think he's number 2? I think Tim Hardaway is number 2, and then Dwight Powell.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway, Josh Richardson, one of those guys. I think one of those guys could score along with Luka.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to pair one of those guys with him, don't hate it. These Mavs bigs with no Porzingis, you're going to take a shot with a Finley Smith, a Dwight Powell, 4,300.
Powell, I think points per dollar is there, but he just had a really tough injury that to come back from. So I don't know if I'm pushing it. I do want to say, Sway McThunder says Luka's so underpriced on DraftKings. I agree. I 100% agree. I was really talking about FanDuel at 11.4, where if he's going to be one of the highest owned players as a top 2 price player, I think there's leverage to be had, and I'll try and have it. But I agree. At 10K, he was 9.9. You're putting him in everything. So DraftKings for sure. Luka's a tough fade, but on FanDuel, the price is ridiculous. Eric Gillen says if Clayba's out, more James Johnson. Yeah, but I think we're dumpster diving, man. I don't know if we're getting slate breakers out of it other than just stocking stuffers. But we've seen it last year, when Porzingis was out, is really most often just Luka and the rest. Like no one else was just really handcuffing him to win tournaments. But yeah, the Sun side though, Chris Paul 7K, he could double, right? You might see a 15-10, something like that. Devin Booker's 8-9. How does Devin Booker play out for you on this slate at 8-9? Call it what it is, 9K. Knowing that they have Ayton, that they have Chris Paul to facilitate a little bit more, the range of outcomes here that Devin Booker at 8-9 is the nuts at shooting guard. Seems a little low to me. Right? I think I'd go down to the Zach LaVines. I'm a sucker for late night hammer, but I don't think I'm.
Devin Booker's tough at that price, 8-9. I think Devin Booker's probably going to see maybe a few more easy shots, but I could see his assist totals really kind of going down with Chris Paul in the picture.
Yeah, not that. What are you, 6.5 assists per game last year? That's not bad. All right, chat. If you guys got anything else, throw it in chat. Questions, comments, concerns. Otherwise, that is our slate. Like I said, if you guys want access to the to my spreadsheet, my projections, stuff like that, you can go to rundfs.com, make yourself an account, go to VIP passes, get signed up. There's so many different passes: week passes, 2-week passes, month pass, and the season pass and year pass. And of course, in addition to access to the basketball spreadsheet, there's also an NFL spreadsheet every weekend. We will have coverage for stuff like baseball for those of you. I think baseball is my best sport when it comes to knowledge, but basketball is my most popular. So if you guys want access to that, go for it. We also have the rundfs.com VIP Discord. And this is a 24-hour round-the-clock Discord of guys. Who is LeBron as a B? Oh, man. I bet that's like Richard or something. Some of the sharpest cats in the industry, man. All over the country, all different ages, races, shapes, and sizes. I mentioned at the top, always be placing $1 million 2 weeks ago. $1 million. We got people in here winning millions of dollars. It's nuts. A couple 100K winners too. And then we got guys like Sid. He'll max the quarter arcade without shame and show you his ownership. So no matter where you're playing, what you're playing, how much you're playing, single entry, extraordinary players, there's somebody in here that you can connect with. Even if you're new, like Danielle, my old lady, she's brand spanking new. And she's learning. So even if you're brand new and learning, you fit in. Get in where you fit in with us. In about 30 minutes, I'll be in that Discord. 20 minutes, I'll be in that Discord voice chat. You guys can listen in or grab a mic and join the conversation. Looking at chat before we get out of here. DFS Cash says I have him at 38.1%. I think that's Luka's ownership. Yeah. So at 10K, it's a little tougher. Like at 10K, I just don't see how he doesn't drop me 60 fantasy points and I walk away. But on FanDuel, he's 11 plus K. You get a little less reward for like bonuses, right? The doubles, the double doubles, the triple doubles. You get more penalization for turnovers. Definitely think there's a range of outcomes where if you show me Luka's projected ownership pushing 30%, I might just full fade in 10-20 lineups, single entry, stuff like that, and hope I can offset the difference, right? There's so many ways to go on this slate. I don't want to necessarily make the pre-flop mistake of surrendering whatever leverage I might have just built in. So if the most expensive guy on a slate is going to be the highest owned guy on a slate when there's 13 games, the range of outcomes is far too great to assume that I can get there without him. So I think that's what I might do on FanDuel. On DraftKings, it's a little different story at 10K. Might be off topic, but do you ever see yourself covering betting? I definitely have had that question a lot. Prop bets, especially in baseball, is something that I do. I said do. But it's so hard to provide content for that because lines are dynamic, right? They're changing as we speak. When James Harden videos are coming out when he's at the club, we're seeing lines going from 7 to 2. So it's very hard to produce content for that, but I definitely produce tools for that. Like the spreadsheet has some ways where you could look at totals, pacings. I have considered adding a page that kind of narrows down what teams do per quarter and stuff like that. If there's enough interest from the Vipers, I'll definitely develop that a little bit more. But as far as content goes, it's really tough to provide daily betting content because the lines are so dynamic. If I put up a video in the morning that says take the Thunder plus 180 and then by lock they're a pick 'em and you watch that video 10 minutes before lock, it's not as valuable, right? Switch straight to betting the games. I do think basketball is tough to bet just because like if games blow out, that garbage time you put in those G League third, fourth stringers, so much backdoor potential. But prop bets I do like. I think as DFS players, we spend so much time knowing matchups, knowing usage and whatever, that your best edge would be in prop bets. So I'd probably cover some prop bets, maybe. Anyway, twitter.com/GunDeckerSports. I appreciate you guys making the first stream back a good one. Sorry about the technical difficulties early on. But man, I'm glad to be back. NBA's back. Raj, you dropping a music video for the people?
Oh, it's coming, baby. Just sent the single into Spotify. They got to approve it and everything. Video's getting edited. So, mid-January,